All right, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, January 4th, 2013. Um, let's start right off with the results, all right? We traded natural gas this morning because the gas came out. We were plus 6 ticks on the gas. We were even on the crude. We were plus 6 ticks on the beans. We were minus 8 ticks on the Russell 2000. We were even on the gold, and we were plus 5 ticks on the NQ. That puts us up on the week for our first 3 trading days for 2013. We're up $625 a contract for these 3 days. Okay? All right. Now, if you've not taken a free trial with us, go to www.cfrn.net/apply. Sign up for the free trial. With the free trial, you get 5 business days in our live trading room. You also get access to Dwayne and I to ask any questions along the way if you want, to learn the setups while you're in the room, to download the indicators and the charting platform and use everything while you're in that 5-day trial. All right. It's really pretty simple. All we ask for is your email, your name and your email address, so that we can send it off to you. All right. Let's see the trades that we took today. Well, before I get into the trades, I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of something that I said in the partners meeting last night. I think it's probably worth repeating. When, I know a lot of guys out there that are traders, a lot of you folks who are traders, or a lot of you folks who want to be traders, who are just starting into this, or who have been doing this for a long time, who haven't had success with it. Every time you go to sit down at your desk in the morning, and you turn on your computer and you log into your charting platform, some of you may have fear at that time. You may be concerned about whether or not you're going to make profit that day. You may be concerned about the choices that you're going to make and those sorts of things. Hang on. There's a little bit of a background in here. Not sure who it is, but
I don't hear a thing.
Okay, I was just hearing a little bit of a... I don't hear it now. I think it's gone right now. But anyway, what I had said last night, when I sit down at my desk, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I don't think about whether I'm going to make profit or not. I just expect that I'm going to make a profit because the trading plan that I have works. It's worked over a very long period of time. And I just sit down at my desk and I do what I do. It's kind of like, when I was a teenager and I worked in a mill for a little while. I had one thing that I did in the mill. I went to the mill every day. I punched my card. I went to my desk at the mill. I did my thing that I did. It was actually, I ran an extruder, but I did my thing and I did it well. I did the same exact thing over and over again. And when I come and sit at my desk in the morning for the live trading room to start trading, I have the same mindset. I do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I sit down and I do it. The results speak for themselves. But I just wanted to put that out there. That's the mindset that you guys need to have. If you're sitting down at your desk in the morning and you're worried about whether you're going to make a profit on that day, then you should be trading in simulated mode if that's the state of your mind in the morning when you sit down to trade. All right, I think it's important to note that. Okay, you shouldn't be trading with live money if you can't sit down every day and be relaxed and say, you know what, I'm just going to do what I know how to do, and the results are going to be what the results are going to be. That's just wanted to point that out. That said, let's get on with the results. All right, today, yeah, today is today and yesterday actually. Today started off great. Now, if we were just going for the equivalent of 2 points this morning, I would have been done in the first 10 minutes. I was up on gold. I was up right away. I was up 8 ticks on gold, and I was up 8 ticks on the NQ this morning. So that put me, what's that, up 120 bucks. So that would have been roughly 2.25 points ES equivalent. So if you're looking for the 2 points a day, then it would have been quick this morning. Because we do the live trading room, we continued trading all morning, and we ended up plus, well, I gave you the results. We traded natural gas. We were up on that. We gave back all the gold. We actually ended up a little bit more on the gold, and then we ended up giving it all back in a couple of trades, and we ended up break even on the gold. The NQ, we gave back a little bit of that. The Russell, we took a trade on that. We lost it. We took another trade. We were up almost to break even on the Russell, and I moved my stop to +1 tick. It came back and got me out of +1 tick. The soybeans, I took one trade on, and we got +6 ticks on that. I think I took one trade. I might have taken two, but I think I only filled on one. Crude oil, we were even on that. There were crude inventories out today and natural gas. That's why we traded the natural gas today. On natural gas, I was up 7 ticks, then I lost a trade and I was down 1 tick, and then I took another trade and I was up 6 ticks. That's how we ended up on the natural gas. All right, now let's go through it all. I'll start over here at the left, which is crude oil. For those of you guys who were partners, who did not make it into the partners meeting last night, we got some pretty good positive feedback on the partners meeting last night. It's already out there in the members area, so you guys can go review it. David, I don't know if you're here right now. Not David Williams, but David G, the partner that was in the room this morning, and he hadn't been in for a little while. He's not here right now. I was going to say go review number 92 and 93. All right, there's a lot of information in there. If you haven't looked at any of the workshops in the members area for a while, go review number 92 and 93. Right? There's a ton of information in those related to what we do in here in the live trading room every day. Okay. All right, so the morning opened up here at 9:30. There were opportunities right in here. I didn't even highlight them this morning on the crude oil. I was busy trading other things at the moment when they all happened. Right here was an opportunity on the long side. All right, and right here was another one. Just the up close right here would have been a spot to get long. After it topped out right here and it started to weaken, this is the trend line right here. So you would have, yeah, that's your trend line right there. You would have gone long right in here on this up close right here. That would have stopped you out with an 8 tick stop. So you would have had 2 wins and a loss, and then another nice win right here, and another one here, and another one here. So there was plenty of opportunity right there, and that was all in the first half an hour. All right, I wasn't trading the crude oil at the time. It was really odd today. Normally, crude oil is one of the first things that I jump into, but this morning the NQ and gold were the things I jumped into right at the start. Crude inventories came out today. They usually come out on Wednesday at 10:30, but today they came out. Well, this week they came out Friday at 11. And you can see that the crude went kind of nuts right here at 11, right here between here and here. All those bars are 1 minute. I'll minimize it so you can see between right here and all these bars all the way over to here. We're all in 1 minute. After that minute was done, there were a couple of opportunities here on the short side to take the crude. There was another one here. I did take this one over here. I ended up taking a break even on it. It went down as we expected it to. There was another opportunity right over here to trade it. Down below that trend line, there was another one right in here below the trend line too. But right there below that trend line, and it tanked. And that was pretty much it. Brings us to where we are now. And where we are now, let's just point it out. There's our trend line. And you would need to close above that trend line, which we have done right here. Now the green line is into the cycle, and we've closed above the trend line. The swing high is 1 tick above here. So I would not recommend jumping in right here. I would say we may top out right here and continue going down. I would hold off on that trade right now. All right, that was crude. We were break even on the crude. Okay. I'll bring the Russell over now. All right. Let's see. Here we go. On the Russell. Let me go over the setup here because it's pretty clear on the Russell. Okay, so let me just go over the setup for you. What you look for is a bullish cross of the MA1, which is this blue and red line right here, over the BBC, which is the green line. Once you get that, and I went over this yesterday with actual steps on it. Once you get that, you look for it to pull away from the BBC, then pull back down to the BBC with bullish divergence. If you have all those steps together and you get an up close, you can enter right on the up close. Right? Clearly I missed that one. The next way to do it is if you have a lot of momentum in the market and price starts to pull back to the BBC, and you either don't get divergence or you don't touch the BBC, you can draw a trend line down the bars like this. And when you get a close on the other side of that trend line, you can anticipate that the market is going to continue in the direction it was going. Okay. This was the first trade that I took over here. There were a couple of them on the way up right here. There was one right here, okay, and another one over here. And this was the one that I took, and it stopped me out for minus. It actually slipped me a tick, minus 9 ticks. The next one that I took, there was one right in here, but I didn't take it. Okay, sorry, I just got a text. There was one right here, but I didn't take it. I missed it. It's not that I didn't want to take it, it's just that I missed it. I was doing something else at the time. And another one right here. I took this one, and I got long right in here. This took a long time for this to work out. I got long in here, and it went up here. I moved my stop to break even once we had closed up above the MA1. I moved my stop to break even plus a couple of ticks, and it came back down and it stopped me out at plus 1 tick. That's how I got to minus 8 on the Russell. You can see that it eventually moved up, but it took a long time for it to get up here. I had put a target on this at 76.4 is where I had put a target on this when I entered it, and it took a long time for it to happen, but it eventually moved up. All right, that was the Russell. Now let's do the gold. I took a bunch of trades on the gold this morning early on. Okay, I actually took one in the pre-market too. I'll show you the one in the pre-market before all the news came out. You can see gold was jumping all over the place this morning. Look at this on the at 8:30 when the employment rate came out, the unemployment rate came out. Look at all those bars were all from 8:30 to 8:31. All those bars were in a minute. Clearly no way to trade that, but I did trade earlier on. Right here we got long. We got long on the continuation of the trend right here, and we took 24 ticks profit on that. Now that doesn't count toward the totals in the live trading room because it was not in the live trading room. All right, so let's get over here where the morning started off. Right here there was an opportunity to get long right here, and another one right here. We missed those. There was an opportunity to get short right here. You had the bearish cross, the space, the test of the BBC with a down close, and the bearish divergence. An opportunity to get long on the down close right there for that move down. It pulled back up, and there was another opportunity right here on the down close. It did not put in a lower swing. It did move down. It moved down about 6 or 8 ticks, and then it came back up through the BBC, giving a long opportunity in here. I did take this long opportunity. I took some profit on that one. I missed the next one. I took this one and ended up with a break even on this. I got out at break even on this one because the news was about to come out right here. All right, the news did come out and it pushed it down all the way down here. Now I shorted over here and I think I took a little profit on that, maybe a break even. I shorted over here, I took a little profit. I shorted here, I took a little profit. I shorted here and I gave some back. I gave back pretty much all the profit from these right here. I went long here and I gave back some more profit. Then I went long again right here and I got back to break even. All right. After that I ended up missing a whole bunch of trades in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think there was 6, 7. I ended up missing 7 trades right here in this move right at the end of the morning session. Okay, that right there would have clearly put me way up on the gold on the morning, but I ended up break even on the gold. All right, where it sits right now on the gold, you don't have any divergence supporting any trades right here right now because we are looking on the long side, but we don't have any bullish divergence. What you would be looking for would be a close above this, an up close above that trend line. It's kind of tough though because without having any divergence down here on the slingshot to give you an idea of the range of the trade, you just have to look left. So you would think an up close on that should push you up here to 46.1, and if it gets through that, it should push you up to 46.7. Okay, that is the gold. Now let's look at the NQ since that's the next one on the way over. All right. Here we go. On the NQ, as it opened up, there were opportunities in here that I missed right at the open. Right here, the test of the BBC with a down close. This would be the close down below the trend line, so right there was actually the first spot to get short. I shorted over here and I took 8 ticks profit on that. I missed the next trade down. I missed that trade and all these other ones over here. I missed them all. All right. When the news finally came out and the market tanked, I was doing something else at the time. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed this opportunity right here. It would have been a beauty. Then it went back up and there was opportunity on the long side in here and there. Okay, it turned around and went back down. And I got short over here. There was one right over here. I tried to get short Dwayne right here when we were looking at this. I think he had said, was it over here? It was over here. Yeah, it was over here, I think. When price was up at 23.50, I think Dwayne had said, look for it to get down, lowered down to 16 or something like that. And it got down there quickly. And there was another one that he had said over here where it got down there quickly. And then he had said another one, and I shorted it right here. The next opportunity I had to short, I shorted it. But while I was short the trade, it went back and forth sideways here a little bit. And while I was short the trade, everything turned around and it turned into a long opportunity. So I took 3 ticks stop on that. All right. And then there was a long opportunity in here. I didn't take the long opportunity, and I was actually at that point done trading with the NQ. All right. So I didn't take any more trades. I ended the NQ plus 5 ticks. Okay. Soybeans right underneath the NQ, so I'll look at that one. And let's see, on soybeans, this is the one that he said soybeans were going to drop too. This was another one that he said. When I say he said, I mean Dwayne said. Over here, when it opened up, he said you could almost sell the open because it's likely to go down on the open. I was looking for a shorting opportunity on the open, and we didn't get it right here. We did get one over here, but this was exactly the level that Dwayne said he thought it was going to go down to, 1368. And we did get another one right in here. I did short this, but I ended up taking a break even on it. And there were a couple more opportunities in here on the way down where you could short it. But this was the next one that I took. I took the down close over here, and I was telling everyone in the live trading room, look for the down close on the current bar. You can short that. And when it closed down, I did short it, and I took 6 ticks profit on it. You can see that it continued down, and there was much more opportunity there. But I was not in it. All right, that was right at the end of the morning session. So I took profit there. And what I want you guys to take away from this, what I want everyone who's in here right now listening to take away from this, is that I'm doing the exact same thing on every market. I'm doing the exact same thing. We're using the same time frame. We're using the same indicators. We're using the same setup. All right. Every single market that I'm looking at here. I know I've now looked at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 markets I've looked at. On every market, we've done the same thing, using the same indicators and the same trade setup. So that goes right back to what I said at the beginning. When I sit down at my desk in the morning and I turn everything on and I get going, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to sit here and do the same thing over and over and over again. That said, let's get over here to the ES now. I didn't trade the ES this morning, but we'll just take a quick look at it. On the 10,000 contract this morning, on the 10,000 contract this morning, we had a pullback down here to the YBR. Now, there was a question in the live trading room about not having the yellow brick road on any of the other charts, and I don't want to have it on the other charts because I don't want it to distract people, but on the 10,000 contract, when it pulled down here and it hit the yellow brick road, right in here is when the question was posed to me. And I said, well, okay, it's bouncing off a blue area on the yellow brick road. We should see it get up above this level, 1457.75. And it did. Once we put in that higher swing, the next pullback down to a blue area should put in another higher swing, and it didn't. That would make you think that this area right here is not going to hold. Okay? Then it got choppy in here. And now it has put in another higher swing. So if it pulls back down here to a red area, you would anticipate that it's going to move up. But I don't know. It's kind of choppy right here. Let's see. On the 4-tick range this morning, let's see, were there opportunities? It was a little choppy, but let's just go through it, okay? right here we needed to close above that trend line. We didn't get it. Over here we needed to close below that trend line. There was a close right here, so if you took that close below the trend line at 55.5 with 8 ticks risk, you would have stopped out right there. Let's see, if you took this close below the trend line over here at 55.75, that one gave 1 point profit, so at that point you would have been minus a point on the ES. Now over here the trend line would have been right here, like this, so you would have needed an up close above this bar, so the up close would have been right there. Granted, this is after the morning session. There wasn't a lot of movement on the ES this morning, oddly. About 57.25, and it moved up to 59.5. So if you did the ES trades based on the same exact thing here, then you'd be up a point or so on the ES. All right, there just wasn't a lot of movement that way. On the other hand, if you bought the YBR here, looking for it to get up to the prior swing, then there was a nice 3 points right there. All right, now let's look at the natural gas, because I did trade natural gas this morning. Again, it's the same exact thing on natural gas as it is on every other market that we've traded. It's the same time frame, same indicators, same exact thing. The natural gas came out right here at 10:30, and the market started jumping around a little bit. I waited a few minutes, and then I drew a trend line, and I had bearish divergence, and I had a test of the BBC. So I waited for the close down below the trend line. I got short. I took profit. I missed the next one that closed down, and I missed this one also. I did take this one where it pulled back up, tested the BBC, and gave a down close. Now I should have waited for the close below this trend line right here. All right, I made a mistake on this one. I thought because I didn't notice down here that the cycle had turned blue. When it's blue like that, you want to wait for the confirmation below the trend line. All right, if it were still red, which I thought it was, then it's okay to take the trade off the BBC. But if you have the blue on the cycle like that and you're going short, you want to wait for the confirmation below the trend line. All right, I didn't wait, and I got stopped out for it. Now, when it did give the confirmation over here, I took that trade and I took profit on it. Okay, I realized I had made a mistake here. I got out of the trade and I took profit on this one. Okay, that was all I did on the natural gas. It's not all that there was, but that was all that I did. Let's see, if we look at it here, we had the bullish cross, the test of the BBC with an up close right here. There was an opportunity for a little bit of profit on the gas. Over here, by the time you got the up close, the black was on the green. There was no trade in there. Let's see, there was one right here on this down close right there. Okay, and let's see, nothing here because the trend line would have been going down like that. Over here, well, now we're well into the afternoon session here, but currently there would have been a spot right here you could have gotten long on. Okay, the trend line would have been right down here like that, and that right there would have been the spot. And that was natural gas. All right, there. That is everything I'm going to go over. I didn't trade anything on the YM. There was a little bit of opportunity this morning on the YM. I don't remember pointing much out on it, but there was just one trend line right there that I had drawn on. A close above that trend line right here was an opportunity to get long, and you can see it went up from there. Over here on the downside, you could have shorted right in there. Actually, that would have been the down close off the BBC right there. You could have waited for more confirmation right there. You could have shorted right there. Let's see, on the way down, tested the BBC. The trend line would have been drawn up like this, right in there, but you wouldn't have done that because the black line is above the green. That's pretty much it for the YM. Well, there was more of it right in here. On the short side, let's see, on the long side, you would have needed an up close. You would have gone this up close, right here. This up close right here. Depending what your risk was, 325, it drew down to 16, so it drew down 9 ticks and continued to march up. Okay, There would have been plenty of opportunity here on this move up as it started trending. All right. You can do that, Steve, but I prefer to just wait until the volatility slows down a little bit. The question was, have I ever considered changing the range to account for the volatility? Because on a 4-tick range, it's going to bounce around a lot when like a news event comes out for crude oil. The crude inventories come out. It's going to bounce around a lot. It's not even tradable for about 2 or 3 minutes. You can do that. I mean, if you want to put like a 10-tick range on there, something like that. Of course, you would have to increase your risk with that. Your target would be bigger, but your risk would also be bigger. But I found that the volatility is kind of mindless volatility when things like the crude inventory comes out. It just jumps around like crazy for a couple of minutes. The setups, in hindsight, the setups still work, but I don't feel comfortable taking a trade when there's just that that crazy irrational buying. Yeah, total knee jerk. It's totally irrational, it seems. If you go back and look at it, let's look at crude when it was 11 o'clock when it came out. Now, right here, the setups are the setups, right? So, this is what you would have been looking at right there. All right, close up above that. That would have put you in all this up here. Then when it crossed down here, the close down below that is what you would have been looking at. Right there for a little bit of a short. Right in here there was nothing. Over here there would have been a little bit of a short. Right here you would have gotten long. Let's see, there would have been a long right here. Yeah, I said that already. And short here, and this is where I started to pay attention to it again. Once it slowed down a little bit. All right, 3 or 4 minutes later, and I started to actually trade it right over here. Yeah, you would need to be quick. I mean, even if you pump it up to, we'll just double it and go to an 8-tick, you'd still need to be quick. All right, and your risk would have to be twice as much. You can see right here, I had said earlier when I was doing the 4-tick range, we'll go back onto the 4-tick range. A close up above this trend line right here is what I had said, right? A close up above that trend line, look for it to move up. I think I had also said that that's not a trade that I would likely take because the green line is so close to the cycle, and you only had a tick left to get up to the swing high. Was that on this market? Or was that on a different one? I don't know. We'll have to go back and look at it in the recording. But anyway, the close up above the trend line is the trade, and that moved up nicely right there. Let's see. All right, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. In the 3 days this week, we are up $625 a contract. All days were green days. We didn't have any down days this week. Knock on wood. But no, when I come in and sit down at my desk in the morning, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And that's what all of our partners should be doing. All right, there shouldn't be any question.
Very good.
All right, yep, let me wrap up the recording. Do you want to add anything, Dwayne, before I stop the recording here?
Go ahead, wrap it up. We need to get moving.
All right,